Hello, welcome back. If you watched episode 1, I gave a brief outline of my life, where I was born, where I went to school, where I worked. In this episode 2, let's see, it's about 8:40 now. Beautiful night here in Sapporo. It's a warm, gentle breeze. I have all the windows open, and I'm wearing a t-shirt. It's now October 3rd, 2021. It's about, did I say 8:40 p.m.? So I've just made a cup of coffee. I finished the first episode, and now I'm made a cup of coffee. I'm waiting for that to cool down a little bit so I don't burn my mouth. One thing I wanted to say was I'm not naturally a public speaker. In fact, I hate it. But watching these other vloggers, what they do, they're not, if they can do it, I can do it, I figure. And also recently I've been doing a lot of Skyping with my family and friends around the world. Especially before the pandemic, I hardly ever used the video chat, which I think now is great for keeping in good contact with my family and friends around the world. But anyway, I tend to be kind of nervous when speaking in public, but since I'm the only one here, I'm not exactly speaking in public, but the one thing I decided to try was pretend like I'm speaking to my family on Zoom and just be natural and just say whatever pops into my head. So anyway, today's episode is going to be completely different. I mentioned Craig Adams, Craig with a K, and he goes walking in the mountains and makes these stunningly beautiful videos of himself walking up and down and up and down and back and forth on the mountains around the world. And one thing I noticed was these really beautiful aerial shots. I was like, geez, how does he make those? And so watching his videos, it's good because at the beginning of each video they're very quiet and he uses very surreal kind of spacey new age music, and doesn't speak hardly at all in the videos while he's in the mountains. But then at the end of the video, he comes on and says, okay, and starts talking like this, like I'm talking now. And he'll talk about, well, I went to there, and I went there, and I took a bus, and I took a train, and I took a plane. And so he explains about how he makes these aerial shots, which I thought was very interesting. And then, of course, he uses a drone. So my image, or my attitude towards drones until now had been kind of a geeky adolescent guys who want to cause trouble by flying their drones around commercial aircraft, or if they didn't want to cause trouble and go to jail, well, they were just geeks, and it was just a fad, and next year it's going to be something else. Well, I changed my mind and I decided, can't beat him, join him. So today, whoops, wait. Today I said, I'm going to go down to the camera shop called Big Camera here in Sapporo, right in Sapporo Eki. Eki is station. And I said, I'm going to go walk in there with my credit card and I'm going to walk out with a brand new drone. So that's what I did today. My big accomplishment. I need a knife. Where is a knife? Hold on a second. Wait, hold the phone. Okay, here's my knife. It's a Stanley. Okay, so opening ceremony. Cut the ribbon here. Okay. Now I am a drone guy. So here it is. Ta-da! So this is a Mavic Air 2, M-A-V-I-C. Wasn't the most expensive one, wasn't the cheapest one. So when I went in there, we had this big camera, it's huge. And so first thing I think, well, up on the third floor is the toys and games and computer stuff. So I walk around, and I walk around, and I walk around, and I walk around. I'm seeing all kinds of things like toys and computer games and blah, 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 blah. I cannot find the drones. So I go down to the second floor and they have bicycles and washing machines and lights and tools and anything you could possibly want. Except drones. So I'm kind of running out of ideas here. I know they have drones here. So finally I asked this guy and he said, well, go down to the first floor. I said, should have started at the bottom. So I went down to the first floor and sure enough, they have this little section for drones. And if you've ever been in Japan, you will experience, it's called sticker shock, which means the prices can be outrageous, especially things like dogs. If you want to buy a puppy dog in Japan, I hope you have good credit or you're very wealthy. But anyway, the drones, the most expensive one was about, in the US, it was about $1,600, which seemed kind of pricey. And went down, the cheapest one I think was about $700. Okay, so usually when I'm shopping in Japan and I'm thinking about a major purchase, is avoid or be very suspicious of the most expensive one and be very suspicious of the cheapest one. So why would you be suspicious of the most expensive one? Is because it probably has a bunch of advanced features that you are never going to use. For example, the most expensive one had this feature that it can detect a wall, so you won't run. It won't let itself run into a wall, right? It will detect the wall and stop, right? Very cool idea. If you're flying indoors, well, I want to go outdoors, so that is totally useless. I have no interest in wall detection, right? So I did not buy the most expensive one. The cheapest one, he said that they have laws in Japan, of course, and the laws they're like in two sections. So the cheaper section, you can fly almost anywhere that is not an airport or crowded place, right? And then the expensive section on the right was there were some restrictions that apply, which I haven't quite figured out what those restrictions are yet, but I'm going to find out soon. But so I asked them, well, can you show me a map of Hokkaido that shows me where I can and where I cannot fly this thing. So we had to use a phone, an iPhone, and look at a barcode and open up this map. And so almost all the red areas are in major cities and airports and military bases and stuff like that, right? Well, I don't want to fly around there. I want to fly in the mountains, right? Every mountain in Hokkaido is like A-OK. I was like, okay, now we're getting somewhere. So I went for the expensive half. So the expensive half, they had they had the 1600 one, and then they had a couple, there were like four. So I was asking them what the difference between the four are, and I can't remember. Blah 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 blah. But anyway, I ended up with this. It's kind of the middle. I'm just a complete beginner for drones, so I don't need the professional version. So that's what I got. So the first thing you have to purchase is this. It's called a SIM card, which is, I don't know if you can see this, a memory. It's like a memory disk or card, like a hard disk in a computer. So so at first he says, well, you have to buy a SIM card, and they have an entire aisle just SIM cards. I'm like, oh my God, which one am I going to choose? So I said, first of all, he said, do you want to shoot 4K or 2K? I was like, what's that? He said, well, 4K is the newest high definition. So if you have a really, really big TV, you want 4K, right? But if you have just a normal TV or computer monitor, then you want 2K. I said, well, I definitely do not have a 4K TV, so 4K is kind of meaningless to me. So he said, okay, so on 2K, so they had like three sizes. They had 16, something, and like 128. So I said, well, what's the difference? He said, well, with 128 you can film like 1,000 hours or something. And so at 16, the smallest one, you can. I think he said you can shoot 20. It was either 2 or 20. I don't remember. But I said, well, I'm just a beginner, so I'll start off with the smallest memory unit that I can get, which I think it was 2 hours of that I can take with this thing. But in the future, as I get more experience and I need more capacity because I want to film a long time, more than 2 hours on one SM card, then I can just go back and buy a bigger one. That's no big deal. So that's what I got. This cost, how much was this? Get my eyes here. This cost, I have no idea. I have to look at the receipt, which I don't have. So anyway, I have no idea at all what that cost. Well, not bad. It was the cheapest one for this drone. So we'll do the opening ceremony. Take our trusty X-Acto knife, Drum roll, please. Cut it open. Ah! Okay, off comes the plastic. There goes the plastic. Send that to China. Here comes the top. Voila! So, here's what we have. You can see that. Okay. So, this must be the main unit. It's pretty heavy. He said that the more expensive half, they're heavier. So they the laws are the lighter ones are cheap and the heavy ones are expensive, right? But the heavy ones have restrictions. Okay, so it looks kind of like a Transformer toy. It's very cool looking, I can tell you right now. So what else is in this box? It's like an Apple box. So this is, what is this? This must be the controller. This is heavy too. A lot heavier than it looks on the video here. It's pretty heavy. I wouldn't want to hold this up like this for a long duration of time. Okay. What else is in here? Some silica gel. We have some stuff, some manuals. Looks like some more manuals. And we have something in here. What is this? This is the last thing. What is in here? This looks cool. What is this? These are some things in little bags. I have no idea what they are. Oh, these are the blades. Wow, look at that. The blades are really small. You think like a helicopter has big blades, but drones have very small blades. They're about this long. Okay, we have looks like power cable. So here we have AC adapter. That's pretty standard. You would find with a camera or a laptop computer, something like that. What is this? I have no idea what this is. Probably find out later. And then this is the electric cord and the USB cord. Very standard. And that's it. We're all open and set to go. So I think I'll end this episode here. I need to drink some coffee and try to figure out what episode 3 is going to be about. So I hope everyone is well. I hope you enjoyed this episode. I hope you subscribe and tell all your friends about the cool new channel that your friend Ken is making. So we'll talk to you guys episode 3.